My turn. For this question, we're going to be using a couple of different methods to find the length of BF. This one here. First of all, we're going to need to find the length CF to give us slightly more information about that blue triangle. So, considering the base first of all, it has the dimensions of 5.2 and 5.6. That is because these are the lengths of these sides here. So now I can use Pythagoras because I want to find the diagonal n, which then exists as the hypotenuse of a right angle triangle. So I get n squared is equal to 5.2 squared add 5.6 squared. That's going to give me a total value when I type it into the calculator of 58.4 for n squared, which when I square root it is going to give me a value of 7.64. That decimal continues. You could go about rounding it to 2 decimal places if you wish, or if your calculator doesn't have that answer function. If you are going about rounding at this stage, make sure you state that you are rounding here. Tell whoever's marking this what you're rounding to. So now I have that base, I can now consider that blue triangle separately. It looks something like this with B, F, and C. I know the length CF now is 7.64. The height is going to be the same as the perpendicular height of this shape. So I take a look, it's this one here. So it's going to be 5.4. Once again now, because I'm looking for that hypotenuse, I can go about using Pythagoras. So I'm going to get, let's call this one x. I'm going to get x squared is equal to 5.4 squared add 7.64 squared. That is going to give me a total for x squared of 87.56. So when I square root it, I'm going to get a value of x of 9.36 centimeters. Rounded to the nearest whole number, that would be 9 centimeters. Use this example, pause the video and have a go at the your turn question. Your turn. So similarly to the first one, I'm going to start by considering that base to find the side CF. To do that, I'm going to need to know these two dimensions. So my base is going to look something like this. 5.3 and 6.3. With that diagonal, which I'm going to label n. So now I can use Pythagoras to find the value of n. N squared is equal to 5.3 squared, add 6.3 squared. That, when I type it into a calculator, gives me a total for n squared of 67.78. When I square root that then to find a value of n on its own, I'm going to get 8.23. That does carry on. If you do want to round it, like I said before, just make sure you are stating that you've rounded it and to what degree of accuracy. Now I can use that value to consider that blue triangle that I have within. So that triangle now is going to look something like this, with a base of 8.23 and a height which is going to be the same as my shape of 5.7. Once again, this is now a right angle triangle. I'm looking for the hypotenuse, which I'm going to label x. So now I can go about using Pythagoras again. So I'm going to get x squared is equal to 5.7 squared add 8.23 squared. Considering the rest again, if you have that answer function, that then is going to give me a total for x squared of 100.27. which when I square root it is going to give me x equals 10.01 centimeters, or to 1 decimal place, rather to the nearest whole number, that is going to give me x is equal to 10 centimeters. Use these examples to have a go at the next set of questions.